Well, I was wrong about one thing. I thought last night when I made the video that I think I said somewhere in there that on Monday after the close we'll have some high volume movers and it'll make it easier to build a list for the rest of the week. And that's where I was wrong because there's just no volume out there and it's not atypical of holiday week. But I was hoping there would be some standouts. So here's my list going into tomorrow. Again, don't give a lot of weight to anything this week. Certainly trade smaller if you're trading. Made a few trades today, nicely green in both accounts, but nothing to brag about. IDRA, nice little volume pop, almost 5 million shares. Broke recent highs today. On an intraday basis, this thing looked like this when I put it on the projector and showed everybody in the chat room that I said, I don't know anything about this stock, but it's got an interesting setup on the intraday and the daily. So if this gets over the high of the day, could be worth a shot. And then I went on to say, but I don't really trust anything today because volume's so thin. And look what happens. It just ripped a huge percentage gainer. I didn't make a nickel on that, guys. But went all the way from the high of day break suggestion of 417 to 470 or 471, something like that. That's a huge percentage gainer. And I'm going to have to start putting some money to work on some of these things that I say, hey, this could work. Maybe I should throw some money at it. But I do want to put it back on watch for tomorrow, just because this is the daily chart here. And it tried to break this recent high of 450-ish, right? And then closed about there. So if we get a narrow range and then an upside break, this could give it a nice trade. Certainly made a great move today. So I want to have IDRA on watch. Whoops, FEYE. This is a really handsome daily chart. Can't remember if this was in last night's video or not. I think it was. And it's just a really nice looking chart. Draw a little trend line here. It's not that hard to see that it broke that trend line on decent volume. And you can see the volume. That was about, what, 5-6 sessions ago? And now it's flagging ever since. And so, is it going to break out this week or is it going to break out ever? We don't know, but I really like it over this flag. So if you want to write down some numbers, today's high was 33.82. So over that, a lot of times when you break the previous day's high, you can get a nice move. And then the other most recent high after that is basically 34. So if we get through today's high, maybe we push through 34 and then break out. This thing looks poised. This is a very nice pattern. I like the volume spike here. I like the volume spike here, and then I like this flag, and it's already broken a trend line to the upside. So I think this thing moves higher over the next coming couple of weeks. Can we get it on on an intraday basis as it's starting? That remains to be seen. Cuba goes back on watch. I didn't do anything with it today. I did say, remember we had this on bounce watch going into today. I did say that if this gaps down, a break of its early narrow range could give a nice long, okay? That's typically when I'm looking for something that's made a big move, 2 red days down, I put it on bounce watch. I don't know how it's going to open, but if it gaps down, a lot of times I look for like a 2-minute candle, okay? And you can see it there. So this is what it looked like 2 minutes into the session. And I said if this breaks, the opening early range to the upside, this could be a nice long trade. Again, and it went from, that would have been an entry at 934, and it went up to almost 990 over the course of about 6 minutes. I didn't make a nickel from that, though, because I was focused on live this morning. Let me try that again, LIVE, as an early trade, and grabbed live just right over $4 here, and was a seller as it was breaking 420. Tried to keep a few for in case it got insane, and it never did. It just went sideways the rest of the day. So I made a few bucks on that. But I was focused on that, and so I missed that beautiful Cuba gap down setup after it was already on bounce watch. So having said all that, I still want to have this on watch tomorrow. It held the 20-day. It's kind of a crazy chart, but this could give a decent long. You can see in the afternoon it started to climb up near the early highs. So if you want some numbers on this, I like a break of the afternoon high over 975, and then another catalyst would be 990, a break of today's high altogether. I'm talking about for tomorrow's trading. Never hurts to write down numbers like that. XONE, it's going to put back on watch. These 3D, 3D printer stocks had a huge move on Friday, and then today gave some back. So now they should go on bounce watch. DDD is kind of the one that started that off on Friday, and you can see most of them did the same thing. SSYS have a more narrow red candle from today. Most of them are in the upper range of Friday's candle, and the same thing with VJET. So and on lower volume. So I've just decided, because of a huge short position in XONE, I've decided to focus on this one. If the 3D stocks can bounce, I like this one the most. It's not an easy trader unless you catch it right at the beginning of a breakout, because it can be spready. But I do like the fact that this, stayed in the upper half of Friday's range and a little bit lower volume. So I want to watch this for a bounce play. I will only take this under very specific intraday circumstances tomorrow. So I don't have any kind of trigger price for you or anything. And then, as always, I want to have DGLY on watch. I called a really nice trade in this one today because it was just in a narrow range. And I said to everybody, this might be far-fetched and there's no volume in it, but DGLY is in such a narrow range. Let me get some drawing tools going. So this was the opening 5-minute candle right there. And then ever since then, it was just in a tight range. There was really no catalyst other than the fact that it's DGLY. And DGLY, as I've said in my recent videos, can make these big moves because it's a low float, big short position stock, and it has to do with body cameras for police. So it's a hot topic right now. So I jumped on the mic, turned on the projector, and said, it might be far-fetched, but over 1585, DGLY might get going. And you could put your stop, at 1570. So it was like 20 cents risk, and there's the trigger. And look what it did. It went almost to 1680. It went to 1670. So it went almost $1 in about 20 minutes before coming back down and then chopping around. And again, low volume holiday, but that gave some nice money today. It's given us nice trades recently, and it's gonna go back on watch again. Now, a lot of traders would look at this and say, "Well, man, there's definitely a seller right up in here," and I wouldn't even argue with that. But if this can break this 17 area one of these days, especially if it coincides with news, this one could give a really nice move. So every day until this pattern resolves itself, until this tightening pattern resolves itself one way or the other, I'm going to have DGLY on watch every day. It's a very short list today, and that's it. We will try to find some gappers in the morning. It's really important, guys, if you're day trading like I do, very important during a holiday week to just really, really try to make your money in the first hour, because that's when the most volume of the day, and that is when we can find a gap play like LIVE today. Made a decent trade early in that one, and that's generally where I put my focus, because after that you get a lot of low volume choppiness and it's almost not worth trading. But that first hour is worth showing up for, at least tomorrow. Wednesday, maybe not. Thursday, the market's closed, and Friday, maybe not as well. But then next week, we can get back to full-blown business, trading normally again. All right, so just keep your position size small, and just try to make a little bit of money this week, and we'll be back at it, hopefully making big money next week. All right, have a good night.